Class. Oh, okay, looks like we may have just gone live. I've started prematurely. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Google Hangout for my Writing for Games class. We're going to be taking a look at This War of Mine, a game co-created by a survivor of the Siege of Sarajevo that places you in charge of a group of civilians trying to survive in a bombed-out building during a brutal brutal war whose details you don't even get to find out fully about, at least not to begin with, because you're not here to change the course of the war. You're not here to win it or fight it. You're here to survive it. That's it. The social dimensions of this game, I would assume, are relatively obvious, and that though not necessarily simply pacifistic, this game asks us to take a close look at the costs of war and the fact that no matter what, innocent civilians always get caught in the line of fire. We're going to take a look at the storytelling in this game and also at some of the mechanics and how they relate to the story being told and to where some of these mechanics have been used in other games. And come back around to the kind of social consciousness of the game as a whole. Start screen sharing here, and I will open up This War of Mine. Minimize this so we don't... oops, wrong folder. This is 11-Bit Studios' first foray into kind of a socially conscious or games for change. In modern war, you will die like a dog for no good reason. Ernest Hemingway. I'm going to start from the beginning. Oops. And you will see just how the game plops you in to the setting with no preface. We don't get anything about how the war started, and we don't get any tutorialization. There's our bombed out building. It's running a little bit slower because I've got more apps open than I did the last time I was playing this. If it gets too sluggish, I'll tweak the settings. You see this kind of washed out grayscale. How long has the siege lasted? It's hard to say when every day is a struggle for survival. The city is crawling with snipers. Shelling is ordinary business almost every night. Phones don't work, there's a shortage of food and meds, and many people are left homeless. Bruno and Marco have always been good friends. When the war broke out, they decided to stick together. They met Pavel while scavenging for supplies. He used to be Pogorin's star football player. Now he's just another homeless victim of war, so they teamed up, hoping for the best. You start with a group of 3 random people out of a limited pool. We have Pavel, who's a fast runner, and see here is slightly wounded. Keep track of things like that. Here we have a little bio of Pavel, complete with this kind of dirty photograph. Before this whole mess began, I lived with my wife and son in the better part of the city. Haven't seen them in a long time. Hope they're okay. I'm not doing so well, as you can see. Who needs football players during war? Nobody cares about sports when every day can be their last. So I scavenge the ruins like everyone else, hoping for the best. Bruno is a good cook. He's also a little bit under the weather. Give people who are sick a chance to rest. They'll get sicker, and if they get sick enough, then they need medicine or they will die. You also see he's a smoker, which means if we can't get some cigarettes, he's going to be unhappy. Bruno's bio. Before the war, I used to own a restaurant. I even had my own TV show, Bruno's Cuisine. I'm sure you've seen it. I visited beautiful places where I was filmed cooking exquisite dishes. All that seems of no importance now, don't you think? Nowadays, you're lucky to get your hands on some canned meat or a bag of rice. And who knows how long this war is going to last. And here's Marco. I haven't had Marco before. Last time I played, I had Bruno and Pavel, but also a woman who had been a journalist. Marco is a skilled scavenger. He's a woman who's actually in good health. His bio says that, I thought I'd been through hell before. I'm a fireman. I've entered blazing buildings to save lives more times than I care to remember. But back then, I had people teamed up against a common foe, namely the fire. Nowadays, your former neighbor can kill you because your grandparents spoke a different language than his. This is true hell on earth. All of this text here, all these bios, are what I call lore. Lore is additional writing in a game that is there for interested players. Generally speaking, what defines lore is that players are not forced to read it or click through it, and also that it is not strictly necessary to advancing the game, though it can provide information that helps the player. I think smart incorporation of lore can be a great way to add to the depth and reality of a world, and is an example of where good writing is absolutely essential. I think the writing of these bios is really quite good. They're all in the first person, and they all, combined with these stark photos, give you an image of a real person who has been taken out of everyday life. And as Marco's bio says, in this game, there isn't a straightforward enemy. There are goals and things you want to avoid, like exposure, getting shot, or starving to death. But unlike some games that are loosely similar in the, say, for example, zombie survival genre, you don't have good guys and monsters you can just kill. There are other people out here trying to survive. Some of them will be generous, some can be helpful. Some of them may pose a threat to you. And some of them you may have to decide before you know whether they're generous or helpful or threatening. Are you going to shoot them? Are you going to shoot first? The whole setup of the game, we start here in this kind of rundown house. And everyone has a chance to go through. You can direct the characters to do things like scavenge through the rubble and clear out larger sections of rubble to make more of the bombed out building accessible. You can then craft things using a system that'll be, it's fairly simple. It will be familiar to anyone who's played games like Minecraft, Terraria, or even just any of the RPGs that use crafting systems. If you happen to have played Agricola, which is a game that simulates having a family on a small farm in the, I forget when it's exactly supposed to be set, but it's roughly medieval periods. I think 13th century. That's a guess. You'll find that the crafting is similar. It's about how you create a stove to make better use of the food you have, so it goes further. It's about how you make medicine, not to give yourself boosts in combat, but so that people don't take sick and die. So here we scavenge some stuff, and the passage of time has momentarily paused. Grab all of that, including some raw food. It says it's edible, but will be more nutritious when cooked. One of our priorities should be to get a simple stove built here. Also a lockpick. which works in kind of classic video game style. It's a single-use lockpick to open the lock. Later on, there will be options to force locks, but I don't even have a crowbar right now, and some materials that can be used to build stuff. Making good use of the daytime is important, because during the day you have a chance to do what you can. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Something down here, actually. And then at night, you can send someone out to scavenge. When you send someone out to scavenge, you have to keep in mind that that means they won't be getting a proper night's sleep. You start with the chair. That's the chair right there. So we can sit in it for a little bit of rest. And you want to make some beds in the stove when you have time. Then start building a bed. Quality of rest characters can get sleeping in a bed is much better than what they can get sleeping on the floor. And since I've got sick and wounded people right off the bat, I'm giving the best chance I can of healing up without medicine, because I don't have any medicine to give them. If I had a shovel, this would go faster, but guess what? I don't have a shovel. I don't have anything. Well, I got some wood now and a few bits of broken electronics that will cobble together into a radio. Good job, Pavel. Bruno telling you I feel ill. I hope it's nothing serious. Quicken Bruno's he's slightly sick, so we're not in critical territory yet. Oops, maybe open that. One need bandages, but no medicine. Here's time ticking away. Daylight hours pass. Don't have enough wood to make a second bed, not yet. Send Marco to go clear that rubble over there as Pavel's working on this giant mess down here. It'll probably take 2 days to clear out. There's some more wood. Might give me enough to build a second bed, I'm not sure. and bring to the workshop. Now I need one more unit of wood to build a bed. Start work on the stove. That'll help a lot once we get some water. Sorry, no water. We need water. You need water, fuel, and raw food to cook. Suppose we can put our stove up here by the fridge. .30. We'll have until 8 p.m. for the day. Then there'll be time to see about. I guess I'll probably let Bruno rest in the one bed we have, and send Marco, my scavenger, who's neither sick nor injured, out to work, to find what we can find. Things become a lot more tense once you leave the building, because there are other survivors out there, and some of them are armed. There are also, especially as you get further into the game, gangs that are out there roaming the streets. So, see that our options are, we'll scavenge, guard the place, sleep or sleep in the bed. We only have one bed, so we have Marco, who's my skilled scavenger and can carry more stuff in his pack. Scavenge. Bruno's sick. I want him to sleep in the bed. Pavel, I'm just going to tell him to sleep. I'm not going to send anyone to guard. It just doesn't seem like it's worthwhile, as little as I have at this point. And again, at this point, people are merely desperate, not terrifyingly desperate. So we got several places here that I can go. And here's where kind of game informational text and the kind of more creative writing intersect, because Shelled Cottage, here's basic information. Kind of stuff they don't need a writer for. Lots of food, huge amounts of materials, lots of meds, huge amount of weapons, lots of parts. Up here, this neighborhood recently got shelled, and many houses are still burning. People are fleeing for their lives in a hurry, so we may find some useful stuff there without meeting anyone. Here, decrepit squat. A lot of materials, weapons, and parts. It's been inhabited by the homeless since long before the war. They've always been struggling with the lack of food and might not have survived the recent shortages. They shouldn't be a threat. We could find some useful things here. Here's some detached house. The danger is listed here. Half it's a ruin, but there are people living in the other half. They don't seem friendly. At night, you can sometimes hear shots fired from there. We could probably scour the abandoned part for supplies if we managed to sneak past the inhabited part. So, for the player who's I can't imagine only playing this game for the gameplay, but there are people who will assume that the kind of setting and content has to be conveyed through what they can immediately click through, and will not stop to read this kind of text, and so they'll know that there's danger. But the text here gives us additional information and adds to the setting. We know, for example, that there might be people over the decrepit squat, but that those people are not a threat because they were ground down even before the war. I'm going to check out the Shelled Cottage. There shouldn't be anyone here. Shouldn't doesn't mean that there won't be. I'm not going to, well, let's go and take some bandages. I'm not going to take anything with me to keep as much space in my pack as I can. When scavenging, gameplay proceeds in much the same way it does during day. The house is still burning. Is it safe to go inside? That's the risk I'm going to take. But I'm going to start by seeing what I can find out in the yard. See, there's a dead body, just part of the backdrop. Oh, okay. Ooh, what was that motion? It was a rat, just a rat. A lot of scrap and lumber. See right there, I've already almost filled my pack. And I can use all those things. But some food would be nice. Okay, here's some food. I'm gonna put down some of the scrap components and lumber I found because I really want that food. Vegetables, herbs, passing the herbs. Water though, I definitely want water. Sugar? Sugar will mainly be useful when I can ferment alcohol. That's actually important for a number of reasons. Alcohol helps keep my bored, imprisoned people happy. It also can serve medicinal purposes for sanitization. I'll go ahead and take sugar since there's a big stack right here. Now my pack's full. That's all I can take. If I can find some more raw food or vegetables, I can put those in here. So I'll take a look on the counter. Don't have to spend much time. I wonder if that house will still be here tomorrow night with that fire. It's another day. Among other things, it's worth noting that if you don't finish scavenging by the end of the night, people have to try and slip back through the city during the day, which starts off risky and then it gets riskier over time. Tonight I had a really good haul. Look what I got. The night was calm. Marco had been searching for supplies and brought back some interesting things. Indeed. Okay. Marco's hungry and tired. Pavel didn't sleep well because he didn't have a bed to sleep in. Bruno's hungry and still slightly sick, but he's recovering. I'm going to tell Bruno to go build a stove. Wait, I actually already have some room to go cook at the stove. Note that he's no longer recovering from being slightly sick because, yeah. Now Pavel, no. Okay. I need fuel. See, I've got raw food, I've got water. I can burn books. There's fuel. Lumber. Or basically mixed junk. That's what components are. There's Marco, who's hungry and tired. I'm going to make food for all of them. Since Bruno's a good cook, I'm going to have him do it. Make superior cooked food with vegetables. I've got 1 unit of vegetables, so I'll go ahead and do that. Just make 2 meals worth of food. I have to decide who I'm going to give the better food to. I think I'm going to give the better food to Pavel and Bruno since they're not at their best. So let Bruno eat. Pavel rest a little while Bruno's eating. I would like to have Bruno recover. See if he can build a bed to take a nap. And here's Pavel. Pavel can do it as well. One bed here. So that's a good one. Let's make that room into a bed. All this crap isn't going to clear itself, so Pavel's slept poorly and he's wounded. And I set him to clearing out junk. Should probably have Bruno cook up some more food for Marco. And I'm letting Marco rest since he's a skilled scavenger. I want him to sleep during the day and rest up for the night so we can get more of what we need. You can perhaps at this point see how this kind of eerily beautiful, but also deliberately, intentionally really quite desolate setting starts to look like a home. And there's some supplies going upstairs. I missed it because it's the ladders there. No stairs. That's a ladder put in through a hole in the floor. Okay. Here's some rubble. Marco, have a lie down. I manage to keep it warm in here. This is something that becomes an issue as time goes by when winter hits. Bruno's sick. I'm going to have him rest. See if Pavel finds anything useful in here. Oh, we need another lock pick or something to force the lock with. And have Pavel go to work on this. And just so we can get things moving along, I'm going to go ahead and end day. We have some new locations. St. Mary's Church. St. Mary's Church is a place of meetings in the local community. Priest Oleg is known for his charitable work in allowing refuge to the poor. There's something to give away or trade. The vestry behind the church is devastated and abandoned. You can find some useful materials there. And we have food, materials, meds, parts, and caution advised. Here's a garage. We have caution advised locations with food, materials, meds, parts, possibly for trade. Isn't that funny? There's possibly trade listed in the short list for St. Mary's. Before the war, you could have your car repaired here. It's a decent family business, run by an impulsive son and his elderly father. They still live here. They're not willing to trade with us. Alternatively, we might find some useful parts here and maybe even some food. No. Okay, I want Marco to scavenge, and I want both Pavel and Bruno to sleep in beds. And we have 2 beds. And let's see what happens. My second night out, the first time I played this game, I found a supermarket. I went across men armed with rifles inside. As a child, I come with my parents, he says. They told me there was plenty for everyone, invited me to join them. I figure I was lucky. I also figure the way this game is set up, things are going to get worse as you go along. Usually, why does it happen to me? Huh? Still in the water. Looks like there's some people in trouble down there. Can I get down there? I don't know how to reach that place. We have been robbed recently, so I have little left. Ah. Oh, sorry. Oops. Don't touch our stuff. So, you know. In most games, for a long time, it's been tradition. You rummage through everything you find. A bit windy tonight. In this game, that might have consequences. You know, he's smoking. Characters who smoke will, given a chance. Someone inside the door. See if I can go through and talk to him. Let's see what he has to do. So here's our limits. Leave now. Okay. Of course, right now I'm not really that desperate yet. Can't reach the grate without a saw blade. See what happens if I click on this. Get some demanding this around with this. And worth taking. These people, presumably with a rather pacifist approach, have had there's a mark on the wall and a few words. Realize rocks are the best dog in the world. They have lost most of what they had. In this game, you're often faced with the choice of whether you try and take from those who don't have, and what to do about people who may try and take what little you have from you. Tell you what, since we want to see what things are like, let's go back in and see what happens if we rob the church. Right now, this is a choice I'm making out of desire to see where the game goes with that decision. But I also want to know that later on, as the situation in the city continues to deteriorate, such horrible choices may be the choices left to the player. And trash and dirt. For all that, he didn't have anything worth stealing anyway. Doesn't make any sense, it says. If I defy this fellow over here. Just leave, get out now. No, I think I'm going to go over here. Oh, I need a blade. I think that icon was used to indicate, last warning, get out. And you'd be stealing. Is this guy actually going to... You shouldn't have done that. He's going to hit me? Oh, crap. We're in a fight now. And it looks like I'm winning. Ooh. But of course, this is just some poor desperate schmuck who is trying to live relatively peaceably in a church. Geez, you can't do it, man. He's begging me now. So I'm going to leave him alone. Take my guilty conscience and bugger off back to my shelter to dress my wounds as best I can. Nope, no, I'm mixing with the priest because, oh, poor guy, he's just an old man. Can I get out of here? Oh yeah, one option you always have, right up here, run to the exit. Marco is severely wounded. Again, this is not the kind of game where your hit points are restored after every battle. I just messed up. On purpose to see what would happen. This is a game. But this is a game that hopes to make you feel the weight and consequences of your decisions. As opposed to, you can potentially see what happens. Play through this game by I'm back, I need help. It hurts. And we were raided. Well, he was gone. Marks and supplies wrote back a whole bunch of raw materials. Someone tried to rob us. No one was on guard. Took some food and water, which is frankly a lot more precious at this point than wood and junk. Marco has some ugly-looking wounds. It seems very serious. Hungry, really wounded, and tired. See what those bandages do. And we don't actually have enough food now for everyone. This particular attempt at surviving the siege may have been brought to coming to a severely wounded, bandaged. Now it should heal. Which just means we've got a chance to heal. It means they're killing me, I have to sit down. I think he's out of it for a while. Bruno, you want to get up and cook? Marco needs to eat after beating up a priest and a stranger. Well, two strangers. Well, actually, that might have been his old priest for all I know. He said he came there as a new child. Oh, yeah. Interesting thing. In terms of the development of the story, when this appears, water to cook the food. Never mind, it's going to be raw food for you, Marco. But see this icon? It means there's something that's been added to the bio based on the character's experience. Here, after getting the crap beat out of him, Marco says, I gotta be strong. My friends fit rough as well, but it hurts so much. Pavel also has a new line, a new bio line. Marco's badly wounded and won't make it through without bandages. Good thing we had one unit of bandages. If someone else gets hurt like that, we won't be able to help them. We need food. Okay, I'm going to stop things here. hopefully that gave you an impression of what this War of Mine is like. It's a game that intentionally sets out to be challenging. You may or may not find it to be that way. I'm pretty impressed with it. Okay, Jerry, I got your message. So at this point, Jerry, if you or anyone else has any questions, feel free to ask them, post them in the on the page for the Hangout. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. For everyone in the December class, there'll be another Hangout next week, and that one will probably be a little bit more focused on, well, it'll be more organized and hopefully a little more focused on getting people a chance to interact as well as watch. Okay, figure I'm going to go ahead and call the Hangout here. Those of you who are watching now, thank you for joining me on short notice, and those who are watching later, I hope you found this to be interesting, maybe even thought-provoking. Take it easy.